Okay. It's actually really stressful. I'm doing like a lot more prep than I normally would. I honestly wasn't even planning to make a video. And then, actually I have a microphone. Oh my god. It's like, do I? Where's my mic? Okay, we're gonna intro without the mic. I wasn't even planning to make a video. That's why like my hair is different to normal, because I was just like playing around with my hair and just like being a little bit silly. And then I was like, you know what? I should just make a video because I'm home alone today and I haven't talked to you guys for ages. So I thought it was time. I'm gonna double check how this looks and then I'm gonna sound a little different maybe. Okay. I gotta check again. I'm sorry guys. Gotta check how I look. Because like look how professional I look right now. Like who am I? I'm not focused. I honestly don't know how the fuck to do this on my own. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Of course, now the sun is going behind the freaking cloud. Okay, in case I want to do this again. Hi guys, welcome to the video. I'm Caitlin. For those who don't know me, I feel like I'm talking very fast and very mumbly, but I'm going to try not to do that because I've got the microphone right near me and I don't want to be too annoying. So, ew, and like the spit sounds, I actually hate that. Like I love ASMR, but like when you can hear them go, makes me sick. I got a special type of neurodivergence where I like some things and I hate other things. That's like completely off topic. Also, this is like the first time ever that I'm not looking at myself and I'm just like looking into the camera. So if I'm looking at you more than normal, don't be freaked out. It's because I'm not looking at myself. But also, like now I'm looking everywhere else because, you know, I hate eye contact. And like right now I'm giving you eye contact and like that's so weird. Okay, anyway, that was a crazy way to start this video. I've got my little notepad here. I'm moving like I can't move because I don't know if it's focused. If we're not focused, so be it. I give up. I was gonna make a video about like fun stuff. And then I was like, you know what, I've done that a million times. And I do want to kind of like recreate some of my old videos to like see if I have any new advice, because obviously like the first video I made that's like very popular about surviving winter, that was after my first winter and like I was just a baby and now I'm like survived 3 and even then people have been here years and years, so like who am I to say anything? But obviously I feel like I have a little bit better knowledge and experience now that I've done 3. However, I think now is not the time. I have a lot of things on my mind at the moment because if you don't know, I'm actually leaving Whistler. This will be my last winter in Whistler. I'm heading off to Alberta and starting a new adventure, but we don't have time to talk about that right now. So on my mind is currently a lot of things, obviously like reflecting on what's been good and what's not been so good, especially moving somewhere else. I'm like, what do I want out of that new place? Like, why am I leaving here kind of thing? My last, or it might not be my last video, but one of my most recent videos, I actually posted me crying on the internet. Very brave, very courageous that I would show that side of myself. I'll put a little snippet here.
Basically.
So as you can see, I'm like very sad in that video and I was just going through a lot of emotions of like leaving and just like really reflecting on like what is the point of this place. And it was really hard, but I'm feeling a lot better, which is good. However, I think now this is a perfect time to like kind of talk about the bad side of being here because it is like a real thing that people experience. There is a lot of things that can go wrong and have gone wrong for people, including myself. So I think it's worth talking about. I sort of touch on it on a lot of my videos, like a lot of these issues, but I haven't had one dedicated video to it because obviously like I want you guys to come here, I want you guys to have fun, and I don't want to, oh my god, I saw my reflection and freaked out. I don't want you to deter you guys from coming here, and that's not the point of this video. I think the point is going to be that I want to raise awareness on the issues, but then also help you with ways to overcome the issues, or like be better prepared for them, I guess would be the better way to put it. So yeah, again, like normal, I'm just gonna kind of like tell you how I'm feeling, and we'll go from there. Everything that I'm saying is like either my own opinion or own experience. I'm not saying that this is going to happen to you, and I'm not saying like that you shouldn't come here because of these things, but I think that they're worth talking about. And it is common issues. Like, it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's probably stuff that you might already know about, that you can hear it like from someone that's actually lived it and actually kind of gone through it. Okay, so the ugly. Oh, who's calling me? Oh my god, Stefan, fuck. Focus, you bitch. Okay. That's as good as it's gonna get, people. Stefan's calling me about work. I'm like, bro, I'm not at work. Let me live. Okay, back into it. Should I test one more time? Okay. I don't like worrying about this side, you know. I just want to chat. Okay, these are in no particular order. They're just whatever's come to mind. Let's get into it. Firstly, housing. Obviously, I have videos on staff housing, and like, I'm a big advocate for staff housing. I think it's awesome. Obviously, like, none of us could afford to live here if it wasn't for staff housing. Well, majority of us. Staff housing is very cheap. It's very convenient. It's got so many pros. But obviously, it is still staff housing, and for those who've never lived in shared accommodation or that kind of thing, you know, you are living with different people. If you're coming here alone, you will staying in Whistler staff housing, you will share a room with someone, which can be like a lot if you've never done that before. Obviously, you're sharing a space. You know, you're waking up at different times. You know, they're coming home late, and just in general, you're just sharing a space with someone. So it is very like, you lose your sense of privacy a little bit. And then outside of that, you obviously have housemates. So usually like maybe 4 housemates in total, including yourself and your roommate, maybe more. And again, those people are on different schedules too. They do try and like match people that have similar work schedules, so that you're kind of like on the same routine. However, you know, people still wake up early, come home late, bring friends over, cook dinner at different times, shower at different times. There's so many factors of living with someone that you do have to kind of adapt to, and in no way will it ever be like a perfect situation. You're going to have to compromise, and you're going to have to just get used to being around different people. And again, those people can be from like all over the world, different background, different experience, different standards, different way of living, different age, like so many factors that will play a part in like living together. And the more you can like prepare yourself for being, I guess, like open to different things and just trying to be a little bit more easygoing than you would be back home, the better it will be for you. Obviously, there are sorry, I'm like losing my voice. There is help that you can get if you're having issues with a roommate, like especially in the Vale staff housing. We have like a housing office, and they can help you with issues and that. But ultimately, most of the time, you're going to have to just deal with a lot of things. And I think my advice to you, if you sorry, I lost my little pinkies, by the way. If you are coming here, mentally prepare yourself to be more easygoing and like go with the flow, and like lose your personal space and just go with it. Obviously, it is something that you have to deal with because you're getting all these great benefits. Like, you know, you staying in cheap housing, that's a major one. Like, it's so cheap. It's so cheap compared to everywhere else in Whistler, like incredibly cheap. So obviously you're sacrificing your personal space and like your living situation. So just be mentally prepared for that. Again, there's not major issues. It's just something that you have to learn to deal with. I've been very lucky. I have a private house. now. When I first got here, I had roommates, and again, I feel like I was very lucky. I was living with a couple, and we were on similar routines and that kind of thing, so it made it easier. What else about housing? Obviously, the roommates is a big one. It's a question I get a lot, and people are like, roommates, and I know that can seem like a little bit daunting, um, but it's just part of the experience, and it makes you like you more life experience, I guess. Like you're living with someone, like that's crazy, and that person could end up being like your best friend. So honestly, like don't overthink that part. If that's the part that's the scariest to you, try not to stress too much. I think there was something on my mind as well. Like even now, moving to Alberta, I'm like, oh, I've got to have roommates or housemates for me. Um, but we're just going to take it as it comes. There's no point stressing about it, and if it's not working out, there'll be a way through it. So don't stress too much. Another thing with housing is if you're in staff housing, like I said, the living conditions are not like amazing. Obviously, you're in sorry, I'm trying not to use my filler words. Should I try and do that? I'm gonna have to really like pull it in. I'm gonna just do it anyway now. The conditions are livable and nothing bad. I think out of most staff housings in Canada or the world, this one's pretty good. Our smoke alarm goes off all the time. The houses get like a bit dingy quite fast. Things break. Obviously, we have maintenance, but things break. Yeah, it's just like a shitter version of your normal house, if that makes sense. So that's been something interesting for me. Like even now, I'm trying to clean the house, but it never feels like as clean as I'd want. Everything's quite old, and yeah, it's just not the same. Like back home, my house was so clean, and then here I'm just like I care, but like not as much. And that's another thing. If you have roommates, obviously your level of cleaning might be different to theirs, so you might have to deal with living in a space that's not as clean as you'd normally like. And again, that's part of the experience, so it's fine. But actually, no, speaking of that, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, especially boys, because I know there's a lot of boys that watch this channel. I think like 65% of you are boys, so let me talk to you for a minute. You guys can be really freaking gross, and obviously in a staff housing apartment, normally it's all boys together, and that many boys in one space is very gross. So please be kind to your roommates. Make sure that you clean. Make sure that you clean your dishes. Don't leave your shit for other people. Don't leave your smelly shoes out. And just try and have a little bit of respect for like not only yourself but like the people around you. And like a little goes a long way. Like just wash your dish straight away, or like don't wear your shoes in the house. Whatever it may be, like just those little things are going to make a huge difference. And it's not fair on one or two of your roommates to clean up your shit. Like that's gross. Like you're an adult. Wow, I'm going in. Sorry, it has to be done. Like you're an adult, even if you've never washed or cooked or done anything before. Now is your time to learn, and don't put that on your friends. Like don't be like that. Like just yeah, be silly all you want, but still be an adult and clean up after yourself. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Girls too, boys, I'm sorry, you guys are worse. I'm just putting that out there from my experience. You guys are worse. Okay, that's housing. Then next, that's something that's quite important to prepare for, which again I've talked about many times. The cost of living here is extreme. Like a funny story, I would just watch a video about this guy. It was on my reels. Someone in Australia was buying Cadbury chocolate bar, like a Cadbury, like a chocolate block, and it was 3 for 15. And he's like, "That's $5 each." Like, are you kidding me? Like, putting that back. And me being here so long, I was like, $5 for a chocolate bar, like a chocolate block. That's like the great prices. Like here for like a tiny little chocolate bar is probably $5. So I was like, damn, is he really complaining about that? So that just goes to show the prices here are much more than what you're used to. Yeah, I don't know if I have much advice for you. I think if anything, like don't come here and think I'll find a cheap way to do things. Obviously, there are ways to be cheaper than normal, totally. But ultimately you're going to spend a lot of money on food and drink and whatever else. So just prepare your budget for that. Don't try and think, oh, I'll find a way to make it cheap. Just assume that you're going to spend a certain amount of money. For instance, like I can't even get cheap chicken. Like I think that's worldwide at the moment, but like especially Whistler, like 2 chicken breasts like $20 or something like that. Or even like tin soup. I always said when we came here, like, I could just eat heaps of tin soup. Tin soup's like $5.70 or something. I'm like, bruh. So yeah, I think what me and Stefan do is we do like a big shop, and I feel like that is cheaper because you're getting like all these things, like a box or 2 bags of things for like $100, rather than when you just go to the shops and get a few things, it's like $40. Like how did I do that? So I think definitely like if you have the right kind of house space for it, a bigger shop is better, and so then you can cook proper meals. Actually a good advice for if you want to like get back into cooking meals, because sometimes when you get here it's like you just can't be bothered and you just start to have like really shitty meals. They do really good HelloFresh and Chef Plate deals here, so they're always like dropping off little vouchers, and it works out to like, I don't know, between like $50 to $100 it was costing me and Stefan for like 4 meals each. Depends, like if your first week you get bigger discount and then it kind of drops down, but you can just put like 7 different emails and it's fine. But HelloFresh, if you heard that, pretend I didn't say that. But I find that's a good way to get cheap meals but have like a good dinner or / lunch, because it's like just a serving size of sauce and of spices and of meat and of veggies, rather than if you go to the shops and you're getting like one of everything and it's so expensive and you might not even eat it all. So I definitely think that's something that's really common here is people getting HelloFresh and Chef's Plate. So I would recommend that. What other recommendations for the cost of living? Again, I just think just mentally prepare yourself. Another good one that affects a lot of Aussies coming over here is like the conversion, not really the Canadian conversion because you have your Canadian money, like once you start working. However, if you go to visit the US, like the conversion is so bad. Even Canadian to US is as bad as like Australia to US used to be when I went to my first time I went to the US. It's as bad as that. But it's like, bro, how's that so bad? I don't really understand money, but yeah, it's really bad, especially for the Australian dollar right now. You basically lose half your money. And if things were cheaper over there, it would make sense. But however, the prices are like really similar. So say a meal in Australia is $20, and then over in America it's $20, but actually it's like $30 Australian. So that's a little rough. Let me tell you that. It's worth it. America's sick. There are cheap things in America, but it feels like you're losing a lot of money. So prepare for that. It's hard for me because I feel like I'm so used to everything now. Obviously, like fuel's expensive, eating out's expensive, food, alcohol. What else do I spend money on? That's about it. I mean, like I said, rent, if you are renting normal private house here, so expensive. Next thing that I want to touch on is I've sort of spoke about this, but let's talk about it in like all the shit things about it. So are we going to get all the shit things? We'll see. So for those of you who don't know, in between, let's go back. We were talking about dead season basically. Let's go back. So in Whistler, right? I imagine when you think of Whistler, you're thinking of like a winter season, right? Ski season. Ski season is like winter and then like a bit of spring. And then we have like a summer season, and that's obviously like biking, sightseeing, hiking, that kind of thing. That's obviously the summer months, and like mainly just summer, because then fall, not much happening. So you can imagine that between like the end of winter and the start of summer, nothing really happening because you're like, it's not really cold, not really hot, not much happening. Although it does fade into it nicely, if that makes sense, because you're like spring, bit cold, bit hot, la la la, right? That's where we're at right now, which is why I'm dressed like this. And then summer to winter, obviously like a big gap, because it's like starting to get a little bit cold, nothing really happening, obviously no snow, then it's like cold, 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 finally winter. So there's a huge gap there. And if you, like, a lot of people obviously stay for more than a season, which is great because it's like, oh, winter, summer, really fun. However, you're usually not working. If you're in like a seasonal role, you're not working in a dead season. So you say you come here for, say you're planning to come here for one winter, you're like, yeah, I'm doing a ski season, whether it's with the working holiday club or whatever, you're just coming here for a season. And then you're like, I'm going to stay. Your winter job that you have is a seasonal contract. Now, keep in mind, for context, there are people here that work full-time year round. Like, they have normal jobs. But for us, not me, but for people that come here for a winter, seasonal employees, what am I trying to say? Yeah, like seasonal workers, entry-level workers, you're generally on a seasonal contract, which means that your contract, even though it's full-time, whatever, your contract ends when the season ends, which is like April or May, whatever. They kind of can choose when your contract ends, I think. So you know that after that point, you basically don't have a job. And people that stay they're not guaranteed a job, but usually if you have a job at one place and then you're a good worker and you're staying for summer, you do obviously have another job. You have your job still. However, your contract ends, so technically you don't. So yeah, as soon as it hits May or whatever it may be, like this season, we're saying up until May, end the season, you have no job. Although you have your summer job coming, you have no job. So you have no money coming in. You lose your benefits, pretty sure. That's a big one. So like, say normally you like have your physio and your dentist and stuff, you lose that because you don't technically have a job. So that's something to keep in mind. You got no money. The town is dead. Like no one's around. So there's not even really much opportunity to work, even if you wanted to. So you have to be prepared to not work for a certain amount of time, which like not having to work, that's great. Like, how good is that? You get to stay in housing, that's a pro. If you've got another job, like your job lined up again for summer, which again, huge pro. No work, like after a long winter, that sounds great. However, like that's a long time without money. And then keep in mind, when you get back to your summer job, you won't get paid for another 2 weeks because we get paid fortnightly. Usually most people here are monthly. Even if you've been making savings, you're going to use that money and you're going to kind of start again from a lower point. And for some people, that's chill. For some people, they're like already struggling with money, and then they're like, oh, now I've got even less money. Like, and they're fighting a losing battle kind of thing, which is not what you want. Like, you want to be here to have fun and not worry about money. Like, but it is a real thing that happens. What am I trying to say about that? My advice, I still 100,000,000% recommend people stay for more than a season. I think like even right now, spring, it's like the most magical time. I say that about every season, but going from like a really long, grueling, cold, dark winter and then finally getting to see the sun again and still being able to snowboard, but like the sun's out, is like the best feeling, physically, spiritually. You just feel alive again. And I think that's at the point when people go, wow, I want to stay here for summer, because this place is amazing in summer. You can go way more places. You can go hiking, you can go to the lake. You're like just outside more. The days are longer. Obviously, there's no snowboarding. That's a really important part of why people come to Whistler or to a ski town. Obviously, the dead season can be hard on people, and summer is generally less busy, so potentially less hours. So that's something that you have to factor in as well. Yeah, again, I would not let that deter you from not staying, but it's something that you should be prepared for, because before I came here, I didn't know anything about dead season. So that's my recommendation there. But I haven't even barely got touched on the bad stuff, guys. I don't know if I want to. Oh my god, it's actually so embarrassing. Okay, maybe we'll leave the best to last. What should I talk about next? Okay, this one's kind of a sad one, and it's, yeah. Why am I so sad? I don't know. it's just sad. I think a lot of people have been going through this at the moment, so it's like really depressing. Something that's very common here that really sucks ass is injuries, especially in winter. You know, snowboarding and skiing, super cool sport, super amazing. I totally understand why people love it. It's insane. However, it's like a high risk sport and like an extreme sport. So I got goosebumps. It's an extreme sport, so it is high risk of injury. And most of the time, the people that get hurt, it's either while on the mountain riding, it's either because you're new and you've hurt yourself from falling or something like that, or number two, that you've gone too fast or too out of control for your skill and something's happened and you've got hurt that way. And then there's like a third way to get hurt, which is how I got hurt, which is not on the mountain, just getting hurt from something, like an external factor, like people slipping over. For instance, me slipping over on the ice. That's how I broke my wrist. I know someone this season that slipped over and broke their collarbone. But generally, it's on the mountain, and like the percentage of people that get hurt. So it's not like, so for instance, Rendezvous, we have, let's say, 60 full-time staff. Let's just say the full-time staff. It's not like one person broke their wrist. Like my season broke my wrist. I was not the only person that got injured. The amount of people that get hurt is insane. Obviously, there's different injuries. So some people break their wrist. That's like 4 to 6 weeks out. We have broken shoulders, collarbones, again, 6 weeks-ish. We have knees, people doing their knees. Knees has been a big one for us this season. I've had 5 people in my team hurt their knee, like on different levels, like slight tear of the MCL, and other people that have had like a broken leg and stuff like that. So knee obviously can be weeks, could be months, could be like years if you need surgery. That's obviously another thing. If you need surgery, then most likely you're going home. Yeah, the knee has been a really bad one, I feel like, because you just never know how long that's going to be. At least with a broken wrist, it's like broken, healed, you good again. Yeah, what else do people get hurt? Ankles a little bit. Fractured elbows is a real common one, and then you have to be in a sling. Concussions is a big one. Obviously, if you get concussed, like you probably shouldn't work for a little bit. You might not be able to ride for a little bit if you get concussed too many times. But it's extremely common. Like so many people are hurt. Off the top of my head, yeah, I would say like at least, gosh, 20% of our staff was hurt this season on and off. So that's a big number. And obviously, if you're here just for a winter, say you're only here for like the four main months of the season, sorry, then, and you're injured for 6 weeks, that's a month and a half that you're missing on riding / snowboarding / possibly impact work, possibly impact going out, impacts everything. So yeah, like obviously there are things that you can do to prevent injury. A big one that I would suggest, well, my number one thing that I say is getting ice cleats. So ice cleats are like little spikes that you stick on the bottom of your shoes. Wasn't too icy this year, but definitely, that's a lie, I've just forgotten. Definitely you need ice cleats. They're like $20 on Amazon, $30 in the hardware store. Like they are my most treasured possession. Even if you are great at walking on ice, like you're still walking on ice, so you might as well put your cleats on. A lot of people wear the cleats for like walking down the hill because it's very slippery. And I just wear them like just walking through town, because there's obviously in Whistler, we don't get like super, super cold. It's like on and off. So obviously the snow will melt. And then if it gets really cold, then it freezes over. And that's when you get like really icy patches everywhere. And especially if you're walking, there's like icy patches that are like black ice where you can't see it. And if you slip and fall, it freaking hurts. Plus, it's really hard to walk and you're slower. So it's better to just get the ice cleats. If I had ice cleats when I walked home in January, I wouldn't have broken my wrist. Like, it actually freaks me out that I was walking in Doc Martens in like the ice. Ugh, I don't want to think about it. So that's my number one. Number two, for mainly snowboarding, because I'm a snowboarder, wrist guards, knee pads, butt pad. The wrist guards probably the most important thing, because naturally when you fall, you kind of like falling like that, and that's how people break their wrist. And if you're learning to snowboard, you're definitely going to fall over. Even if you're not learning, like, you can probably still fall over. So just getting some sort of protection is really, really key. Again, wrist guards, $20, broken wrist, 2,000. So the choice is yours. And there's like absolutely no shame in wearing wrist guards. No one will even see. Same with the butt pad, knee pad. No one sees it's underneath your pants. The only person that's going to care is you, because when you fall, it's not going to hurt. Like, when you fall snowboarding on your butt and it like hits your tailbone, oh my god, like the most extreme pain you've ever felt. Let me tell you that. And then not only that, then you bruised. So then when you fall again, it's like even worse. So just get the butt pad, honestly. Yeah. Then third, I would say, obviously have fun, but like, how do I say this? I guess, like, obviously snowboarding and skiing is about like having fun and like pushing your limits in a way, because you've got to like kind of push it to get more confident to learn. However, like, just don't be stupid. That's probably the most simple way to put it. The faster that you're going, the more risk of getting hurt. Like, on a snowboard, people go like 70 kilometers an hour. On a ski, some people go up to 100 kilometers an hour. What happens, do you think, if you fall at that speed? Like, obviously your body's going to break. I don't even know. But then there's people that like just catch an edge on a green and they get hurt. So even if you do everything right, even if you're like being the safest that you could possibly be, you never know. It's still a high risk sport. So I think, what would I say? My advice, I think, don't like prepare to get hurt. But if you do get hurt, it's not the end of the world. It's not your season over, hopefully. You will get better. You will like have to, it's annoying because you have to go to the hospital, spend money, get your money back on insurance. Like, there's a lot of things that happen that impact your season, because, you're taking time away from the fun things. But yeah, just make sure you have good insurance. I can give you a horror story if it makes you feel better. I don't think you'll mind me telling you, but I had a friend that came this winter, and on I think it was his first night here, he did a backflip. Oh my god, is he going to care? I'm shaming him. No, it's fine. He did a backflip when he was out, and normally can do them fine, but like just kind of landed like landed a little funny, like caught himself on his wrist. He broke both his wrists, and so he was in cast for like the first few weeks. I think he said the first 2 weeks that he was here, he didn't snowboard at all. And then, because he's a really good snowboarder, he then was snowboarding with broken wrist. But had broken wrist for, yeah, obviously 4 to 6 or 8 weeks or whatever it was. His job was originally going to be snow removal. Obviously couldn't do that. Was without a job, and without a house, I think. And then he did. Oh my god, what did he do? Then, yeah, something else happened medically once his wrists were healed, and he basically hurt his shoulder, which was like, his shoulder was already kind of shitty. And then he was like, obviously still snowboarding, but it was impacting like his day-to-day life. And then he caught an edge while snowboarding really fast, had stuff in his backpack, and like destroyed his back and his neck and his shoulders and everything, and couldn't work for like a week. Then when he was back at work, could barely work like normal. So was he losing hours and just losing your quality of life? Like, you can't do anything because you're in pain. And then, yeah, still was not feeling like 100%, and couldn't snowboard like he wanted to, so he went home. So that's obviously like the worst of the worst, I would say. Would I say? Yeah, I think just more for the quality of life, like being in pain. You don't want to be in pain. So just be careful. Like, it is a really extreme place in extreme sport. People die all the time on the mountain. Wow, this is quite depressing. But it's true. People die. Someone died from an avalanche the other day, obviously in the backcountry, but still. People slam into trees and die. People break their back, become paralyzed. So it's really dangerous. And yeah, although it's really, really fun, let that be a warning that like it can happen to anyone, including your friends. So like look out for each other and yeah, have fun, but just do the right thing. Yeah, oh my god, that was so sad. That was really sad, guys. This is a sad video. No, it's fine. You need to know. You need to know this. It's gonna be really long. Yeah, who cares? Just looking at my notes. I did have something about the weather. Who cares? It's fine. The weather changes all the time. I don't know what my note is there. I think it was that last year there wasn't much snow, but meh. Who cares? You can't control that, so I might as well not even tell you about it. I got 3 more, which are kind of related. Kind of. Yeah, they could be related if you one after the other. So, obviously we need to touch on partying. I don't know if you guys know, partying is excessive here. Excessive. I don't even know how to say it. Everyone is here to have fun, and everyone's here, well, at least, say staff housing and seasonal roles, all here to have fun. It's very common to be going out a lot. Like I've said, when I first got here, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna drink. I literally drank like almost, I don't know, like 3 times a week, maybe more. My first season, like I drank a lot, went out a lot, and it wasn't like I just wanted to party. It was just that there was things on. Like obviously, Rendezvous has a team of 40 to 60 people. That means there's birthdays, going aways, whatever else, and or just catch ups, and it doesn't feel like I'm going out partying. It's like, oh, I'm going to have dinner with my friends, or I'm going to have a drink with my friends, or I'm going to celebrate a birthday, or I'm going to say goodbye to someone. And they're all like legitimate reasons, but there's just so many things on all the time. And especially if you live at staff housing, there's always something on. And it's very easy to have no reason to not go out, if that makes sense. You could go out every night if you really wanted to. And people do. And it can be like such a such a tricky situation because you kind of get into a loop and it just becomes your normal. Like a funny joke we have here is sometimes you'll go out and you're like, oh, I'm not drink for a while, and you'll have like 3 days off drinking and be like, yeah, you'll say, oh, I haven't drank for so long. No, it's been 3 days, dude. Like that's nothing, but time just feels so different here. So 3 days off of drinking feels like a lifetime, especially like your first season. Obviously, now I'm like not into that as much, but still, I'm probably going out tonight. So it does still happen, and it is fun. Obviously, it's fun drinking, fun having fun with your friends and whatever else. I totally like stand by that, and it's good to have friends and whatever else. But it can easily get out of control. Number one, it costs a lot of money. Number two, you're hungover a lot, so then you're kind of like in the pattern of go out, be hungover, kind of like write your day off. Then you're just kind of in a weird, you can't get a good routine, which obviously you can't get a good routine here, but partying like heavily impacts it. And the other major one that I've never really spoke about properly, have I talked about it? I don't know, but drugs here. Oh my god, I'm fucking talking about drugs. Okay, drugs in Whistler, I don't know if it's Canada in general, but especially Whistler, are very cheap compared to back home in Australia. So a lot of people that wouldn't have normally done stuff back home / bought stuff back home are doing it here because it's ridiculously cheap, and it's cheaper than drinking and can be more fun than drinking. And all of a sudden you have like a habit that started out as something cheap, but then now you're spending $100 a week on the habit. So, and what am I trying to say? Doing drugs, doing drugs obviously makes you stay out. For those who don't know, my God, am I talking about drugs? Is this like legal? I don't even know. Yeah, it's fine. When you do drugs, you're more inclined to like stay out longer. So then, like I said, the hangover's worse, you're spending more money, maybe doing things that you wouldn't normally do. And while that can be fun, it can be like a really dangerous what? I don't know. It can be dangerous for some people that either like don't have the self-control or aren't good with money. There's like a lot of things that can come into play, and it just gets your normal environment, normal behavior just gets really far away from what you would normally be like back home. And it feels super normal here. It doesn't feel crazy. It does not feel crazy to be doing drugs. Like hypothetically, if you're doing drugs going out, it's not uncommon. It's very normal. It's normal behavior. And when you're in that kind of environment, you can't help but do those things. So even if you're a person that thinks, oh, I'm not going to drink that much, whatever, I'm not going to do drugs, like there's a big possibility that you will. And yeah, I'm not saying don't party, but yeah, this is like that's probably the baddest. That's probably the worst side of all these terrible things that I'm talking about. Because yeah, it's not healthy to be doing drugs and partying that much. And to be honest, like my advice or my opinion is that you don't, those nights are fun. 100% those nights are fun. But you can have just as much fun, if not more fun, doing things that don't involve drinking, or like maybe a little bit of drinks, but not about drinking, going out. Like going ice skating, going to the lake, going snowboarding, I don't know, things like that. Going for brunch, going to get waffles at Crystal Hut, things like that. Hanging out with your friends. They're the times that you're going to remember just as much as going out and partying. So, like personally, like I have a little Whistler bingo thing that I do. So I'm like trying to make sure that I do fun activities during the season, because sometimes the season can get very busy with like work and going out, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I've done nothing but work and drink and not done like those really cool things that you can't experience anywhere else, or like maybe not back in Australia. Walking on a frozen lake or going for a cold plunge in a frozen lake, things like that that you definitely cannot do back home. So back home you can easily party and do drugs, no problem. So you might as well be here doing things that you can't do back home, or else what's the point of being here? So try and be that friend that look at the goosebumps again. Try and be the friend that organizes those wholesome things, and try and just remember what's important to you. And yeah, there are like so many resources here for people who are struggling, because it is such a big common issue. And yeah, what am I trying to say? Yeah, it's a touchy subject, because like I don't want to like push my opinion on anyone, and like I'm no saint myself, so I don't think I have any right to be like telling anyone what to do. But that's just something that you should be prepared for. And yeah, it's just a lot of partying. I think that's why, like, yeah, if you don't want that kind of scene, like the smaller ski towns are better for that, I think. But Whistler is known for like this. And then on that, I don't really know much about this. Slash, it's not something that comes up in my day to day, but I feel I need to touch on it. Um, Apparently, I don't fact check me, or I might fact check myself and check. Like Whistler has one of the highest like STI rates of like a Canada. So please, for the love of God, if you're doing that stuff, which you obviously gonna most likely, especially seeing so, like I said, 65% of you are boys. I mean, no, that's rude. I shouldn't say that. Anyone can do anything that they want. Yeah, but still, if you're going out and meeting people, whatever else, please just be careful. Um, yeah, I don't even know. If it's something that you've never experienced before, never had to think about before, maybe put it on your radar that like it is common here. People, let me tell you, people, we're kind of incest. We're kind of incest, not gonna lie. Like, yeah, everyone gets to know everyone really well. That's all I'm saying. So, uh, yeah, please be careful, protect yourself. Make sure you get consent. Obviously, consent's a big one here because people, like I said, people drinking, people not being themselves. Don't don't yeah, I've never had to talk about this stuff on here before. I'm not really mentally prepared. Yeah, I think ultimately look out for the people that you're around, look out for your friends. Um, don't let them do stupid things. Be a good friend that calls people out for things, and always, always watching out for your friends on a night out. Like, always. This is not the place to like say, oh yeah, like old mate will get home on their own. No, you make sure that your friends get home, especially in winter. Like, you cannot leave your friends out alone in the cold. Okay, yeah, there's taxis and buses and whatever else, but like you you need to make sure that your friends get home safe. That's like top priority, no matter what. So, wow, I really got these little goosebumps, little gooseberries. Uh, yeah, just look out for your people, look out for yourself. Don't be silly, and yeah, you don't want like one stupid mistake to like end up being a really big shitty deal, and that can happen. So yeah, just honestly like think about what you're willing to sacrifice. And on that, on partying, STIs, all that, this I need to tell you that this place is like it gives small town vibes. Okay, maybe not when you first get here. When you first get here, like oh my god, wow, like everything's new and exciting, but very quickly things become very familiar and you see friendly faces all the time. Like there's probably not a single time I've ever gone into town and not seen someone that I know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a small town, especially if you work in big departments, that you have a lot of people that you get to know straight away. So what I'm trying to say is that's really honestly that's one of the best parts. Like I feel like I have such a nice little community here. Like going out and seeing someone I know and saying hi, saying how are you, like that makes my day. And just being so close to all my friends and knowing that they're just down the road and it's so fun to hang out all the time. And that's truly like the best part of being here. For me, I'm not much of a snowboarder. Why am I here? Yeah, I don't know. I'm here for a few reasons, but the the main positive of my life is like being around people that I love and like seeing my friends and seeing people happy, and it's really really great. So I'm not taking away from any of that because I love that. However, being in person from a small town and now feeling like I'm in a small town, like if you're not from a small town, just know that things get around so fast, and just assume that people gonna know your business. Like I said, you're living with other people, so you're gonna know people. People gonna be in your space. If you sleep with someone, if you do something dumb, um, whatever it may be, like even worse, so whatever it may be, people are gonna find out about it so fast. So just assume that everyone's gonna know your business, and it is like I haven't really had to deal with it too much. Yeah, like I don't know. What am I trying to say? I don't care about people knowing my business. I mean, I'm posting shit all over the internet, so like that's fine by me. But just be prepared that people are gonna know your shit, and not like be careful who you trust, but like even if you tell someone something in private, like just assume that people are gonna find out anyway. Better to just live your life like that. And also like if you're going out to town, just assume that like people will see you. Obviously, a huge issue that we have is people going out partying and then calling in sick hungover. It's like, dude, everyone saw you out. Like everyone's gonna see you out. So don't think that you can hide anything here. Like this is a town where everyone knows everything. And yeah, that sounds pretty awful, but it's the truth. So take what you want from that. I guess just like don't think that you can be a little sneaky. Don't think you can be sneaky because let me tell you, you can't. There's not a single thing that you can do in this town that's sneaky that people will not know about. But to end on that note, all those terrible things, all those terrible things I just said, in the grand scheme of things are just little blips. Obviously, for some people who may have had bad experiences with injury or work or roommates or whatever, some people, that's their whole Whistler story, and they've had a really bad time, and that sucks. Like, I know someone that was going to come here, and then she got scammed out of her like deposit and like literally couldn't come. Like, that's awful. That, I'm so sorry to people that have had that, like, that terrible thing be like their whole Whistler experience, because I know that that happens for people and that sucks. However, for the majority, and hopefully for you watching this coming here, hopefully those annoying things that I just talked about, hopefully they're just like very small things in your experience here, and that all the lovely things that I talk about all the time are the main things. But I do think it's worth telling you guys about so that you're prepared, and yeah, I guess don't have this like, you know, rose colored glasses version of Whistler, so that you're coming here like, oh my god, like Caitlin said all these amazing things. There are still hard things that you're going to have to go through, which honestly, it also makes you like a stronger person, makes you a better person. You're coming to a foreign country. You're always going to have things going wrong. You're going to have things that didn't go to plan. You're going to have feelings that you didn't expect. And that's all part of it. That's all part of the fun. I didn't plan to break my wrist, did I? No. Like, that sucked. But now I get to talk about it all the time. It's funny. Don't expect everything to go as you want. Like, be prepared for all these shitty things, because then you'll be, what am I trying to say? Going through those things makes you more resilient, and I think that's the whole part of moving to another country. Is like, it just makes you a more independent, more strong person. You can tackle anything, and like, you're gonna be more confident in yourself, more confident in your life, and overall you're just gonna have a really, really good time. So I think that's all I have. It's like, this is me talking a really, really long time. So I appreciate you if you've made it to the end of this video. But for those of you that are still here, I really appreciate you. And if you would subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. And I really love making these videos and talking to you guys. It's honestly the best part of my life. Maybe not the best part, but it's up there. So thank you. And if you have any questions or anything about Whistler or anything at all, just feel free to comment or message me on oh my god, message me on Instagram. I'm always happy to chat to all of you guys. Like, I love helping you guys, and I just want you guys to have the best time. And I'm getting really nervous now, so I'm gonna let you go. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Bye.